Okay, so wonderful. Hi everyone, my name is Usama. I'm from Ain Shams University. So I think my presentation will be the other way around, presenting digital tools that is mainly manufactured here in Europe and the States to Arabic students. So this what I have done in the abstract. I said that the social change going on in most parts of the world, but particularly in the Arabic world, is an outcome of the digital shift we are witnessing. I think the most important factor, for example, in social media, that brought to us what was once called the Arabic Spring, was that these media were customizable to the needs of millions of Arabic users. I suppose also for any other user around the globe. They were global social media. By contrast, I believe that no change in the current status quo in the philology, I mean, both in and outside the Arabic-speaking countries, is ever possible without a similar process, I mean, customization and localization in the current academic digital media. So for the term of Arabic Spring, I think there's a lot of discussion about that. So as a side note, there is an article about the Arabic Spring that never happened, which is available in Gabalia, which published in Arabic and English, which is in itself something which is good, which argue that based on Google search, based on Google Media, that the Arabic Spring is never happened. It states that there are two simplified versions of based on the search, the Google search of the English audience. You know, when you search for Arabic Spring from 2010 until 2016. So there are two simplified versions of that. The first one is that it was a brief, completely non-violent, telegenic social media-based revolution that achieved its ends about in the period of time necessary to binge watch a TV series. The other simplified version that is dominant now is that it was not a noble but misguided failure that has brought in the region nothing than death, destruction, and of course ISIS. The argument is that two versions are a very simplified version of the truth, and at the end they argue that what happened, the Arabic Spring never happened, nor has it once and for all ended, because the struggle is still there, and I mean the idea is itself. So as for, it ends like that. As for what happens next, that is to a greater extent up to all of us, not only in the region, but also outside. This is a side note, but to continue on our discussion, I go back to the first Greek and Latin in age of open data, and the call for papers for this workshop, which has happened here in Leipzig, was in many languages, including Arabic. So this was, I think, global. In this workshop, I have given some statistics about the learners of Greek and Latin in Egypt. When I said that it is the only country in the Arabic region in which we do have philological departments. Yes, we have history departments in the Arabic world, but until now I have not spotted any philological department in the whole region, which would extend over the region that the Roman Empire. Of course, Turkey is one place that is not included here, but I'm talking about the Arabic-speaking countries. So this was a rough estimation of that, and I said that there are 1,000 faculty and teaching assistants of Greek and Latin. This is, when I came back to Egypt, I began to realize that these numbers are just an average, you know, because they are more than that. 2,000 advanced students, and I'm preparing now an updated version of this statistics for publication as a reference work of where is Greek and Latin in Egypt, and of course in the Arabic world is taught and where is the audience of Greek and Latin teachers and students. So hopefully it will appear in 2010 at the beginning. So back then I talked about the essential that we are lacking, and still we are lacking. I talked about the updated department libraries. We are lacking that to support teaching and research. I'm talking about lexica, which we don't have. No Arabic Greek or Greek Arabic or Latin Arabic lexica. We don't have that. Grammar books tailored to the Arabic student who looks to the grammar through his own native language, which is Arabic, which is not English, of course, not German, not French, but an Indo-European language, or a modern language, which is in Europe or in the States. So we don't have national collection management because I'm coming from the field of philology, so this is something important to me. We don't have how many texts are there, Greek and Latin, or even Arabic. So sporadically, situation in the institution, I mean, just a statistic, which is not based on the real things there in the magazines and the museum. So, and also I'm talking about the possibilities and assets. I mean, we do have a department in Cairo University where translation movement is done now from Greek and Latin into Arabic. We, in Cairo University, we have a very strong school of comparative literature with modern Arabic literature. What is once called Nahda, or the Renaissance, Arabic Renaissance, with a lot of authors who have tried to integrate as much as Greek mythology or other motives in their poetry, drama, and all these things. So, but their scientific publication, and the scientific publication of the classicists, most of the classicists in Egypt are in Arabic, so it's not recognized away from the Arabic world. I have talked also about how many texts are there. That was a rough estimation also. About 20,000 texts that are there in Egypt, in museums and magazines. So, and this is a rough estimation also because it only published texts, and of course this comes from the Trismegistus database, and we don't know how Trismegistus database and numbers, how it correlates to the texts and pieces there in the museum. For Greek and Latin, I have also given the numbers, but of course, again, the limitations of the Trismegistus database. So I have also noticed that because of this, we do have sometimes people work on the same piece. It's not a big problem, of course, but if anyone who works with unpublished text and knows that another person is working on that in that same piece, it's waste of time and effort, because there are a lot of pieces to work on when someone work on the same piece. Fortunately, this was just 6 cases until now, and this is published in the AIP website. So so I began to commit myself in order to make things more clear. So I began to blog about that and made a blog, Classics in Arabic, which operates in Arabic and English. And of course, because of the training that I have here in Leipzig, I began to produce my own work, and you can access this Aristotle Poetics with a preliminary work of translation alignment between the Greek texts and Arabic ones. So, and of course, in the Alpheus project, you can access that, and you can see how Greek and Arabic align, which also a challenge in itself, because there are a lot of things to do here. So I am trying now to go on and made a project based on the digital corpus for Greek and Arabic studies, in order to produce something meaningful for myself, for my students, and also between these two languages, Greek and Arabic. So I hope I will get fun for that. Again, go back to my field, which is papyri. I think I have done something here to include Arabic in papyrus.info. It was not a very complicated problem, but at least I tried to put Arabic inside with the Greek texts in the XML file. It has a lot of technical details, but heuristically I found something which at the end succeeded into, as you can see in the first line, you have the Greek in the left, the Banis, and in the right, ila sahib al. So you have Arabic and Greek in the same line, which corresponds to the manuscript itself. So before that, you do have the print culture, of course, you do have two separate publications. Because of the limitation of the print culture, I mean, of the printed book, you have a separate publication of the Arabic, separate publication of the Greek, but now you can, using XML and papyrus.info, have the two of them. There are, in the team in Heidelberg are moving on with this, and I hope they will. The text is based on the ABD, the work that has been done in the ABD, and to integrate in papyrus.info. I have also begun to work on translation because there are a lot of Greek and Roman history students in Egypt, and they want to access. I mean, they are specialized specialized on Greek-Roman Egypt, so they use papyrus, but they want translation of the texts. They do have now, which is very great thing to have, papyrus.info. They have all the texts online, but they don't have the translation. So I began to work on papyrus.info to move on and to enter some translation of the text, which also moving slowly because, of course, the training and the students who could work with me and work with the XML file and Leiden Plus and all these things, they should be trained to this. So it moves slowly, but I'm trying to go in this direction also, I mean, in the classroom. Something which is also marvelous for the students in Egypt, again, we don't have dictionaries, but when I told them that there are now the Preisiger dictionary, Nieuwsfachwörterbuch, which is here in Leipzig, I'm very grateful to the team here in Leipzig to allow me to put the Arabic translation of every technical word, which is something the students are using this now. They don't have the print edition, the print Preisiger's Fachwörterbuch, the technical dictionary of the terms that they do have and encounter every day in the papyrus. But now they can log in and have it also not only in German, but many languages and of course in Arabic, which in itself an advance in the teaching, advance in their learning process, and I think this is marvelous. And I hope also the dictionary itself of the papyrus would someday will be in line. So that's wonderful, and you can see that the technical word for abukhia, which is ard sharaki, it is still a technical word by the farmers in Egypt. So of course, in English you have the translation in German, Spanish, and all the languages which we do know, and also the place names in Egypt. Gabriel Bouda, which I'm grateful to him, also has entrusted me with this, and I think this is something which is important also, not only to have the labels, the English, German, French, and Italian labels of the places in Egypt, but also to have the Egyptians transliterated and also with Arabic script. He told me that there are about 800 or something more names in Pleiades. So I'm trying to work on this, and he will upload it to the Pleiades website. So again, moving slowly because I need some students, some training, some people who will do this work and try to figure out what is the Arabic equivalent of an English label for a place which is in Egypt. And of course, I'm in the Digital Classics Wiki, I'm working on this, and also trying to add some Arabic content to the Digital Classics Wiki, which sometimes give hints and the information for the Arabic students. Yes, they should know English, but when they have it in their native language, this is something which is important for them and will advance their learning process. Something also that I have been involved in this project, which pilot project by Gabriel Buda, which he has based on this thing, I mean, the labels of the place names. He have done this project a pilot project for 3 months or something like that, which is marvelous. The idea is wonderful. You know? So this is a cross-cultural life, a cultural afterlife of classical sites, including Arabic names in the Greek Roman atlas, which is, as I have told you. And we used the Recupito to produce, to train some students in order to work with the Arabic maps, you know, for Idrisi, and this is something which it was fun to do this, because this is a Nile Delta, this is where I was born, and it was wonderful now you can look in Pliades and have these names in Arabic, you know, in the map of Idrisi itself. And of course, you will have all the other information which you do have in Pliades. So you have here a screenshot of Minif, so that's the place where I was born. So, and of course, with Tariq Yusuf, he is now developing something which is very important for alignment. So I'm grateful to him that he has used some of the preliminary work that I have done also, which is, of course, when he will end up his project, that will be marvelous also. And I can go on like this, you know, and this is the scene in which we offer trainings for the students. I'm trying to encourage the students to go on to have the live casting of the sessions every Thursday, and to participate. But of course, again, the language barrier is still there, because they should be asking questions. First understand what is going on, and then asking question or participate or anything. So they are a little bit, you know, reluctant to do that because of the language. So, but they are there. They might not be showing off their voices or faces, but they are there. I've also done in Cairo University workshop. 7 students of Greek and Latin have asked me to introduce them to these digital media. So I have done. I was there with the head of the department, who are in my right side, Professor Ali, and I told him that we could do that in Cairo University, and he said that okay. And there are 7 participants, graduate participants of Greek and Latin. I have introduced them to some tools, and that was something beyond my Ain Shams University. I mean, not just in Ain Shams University, I'm trying also to extend this to Cairo University, and they were very excited to do that. I hope they will use what I have told them in their research and try to participate. There are one of them, the one with the blue jacket, which is an active member in Synoikis DC. She's very active. She every day, every session, she is there. She makes whatever asked from her, and she is called Sarah. So that was a blue jacket, and this is active person. I hope the other 7 persons and other students participate and go on and not to be shy and to take it as fun, as a game, as try and error. You know, it's not something to be afraid of. And of course, we have certificates, which is also something that is important for the students to have some certificates about what we have done and to document that, which will help them in their CVs. So what I want to say is that many of the current digital projects are conceived in the first place, as I said, and from the very beginning to serve Western audience, either in the teaching, classroom, and learning. But due to their very nature on the web, they are used all over the globe. They are used by others. Since there are people in Egypt and Arab world interested in their history, of course, for histories, as you pick it. The question is how the, and now we are going to the question. The question is how the global philology will present itself to them. I mean, how we are moving on in this direction, not only in the interface, not just translation, I mean, also in the content itself. There is a culture over there. There are a lot of things that to be considered when, I mean, I hope that every project that is online could, from the very beginning, account for Arabic-speaking communities, Arabic-speaking people who could use it effectively. Of course, under supervision in the first place, and then they could go and participate. Number three, there is a thriving academic community of scholars investing their entire lifetime with Greek and Latin, I mean, in Egypt, but also with other languages, of course, and culture, but I'm coming from the classicist domain. So there are students in Egypt that are doing their master, 5 years, maybe more, maybe less. PhD, 5 years also. 10-year assistant professorship for 5 years, and then another full professorship for 5 years. If you count them together, 20 years. They are working with Greek and Latin, and they are producing publications either in Arabic or in English, but mostly in Arabic. So how, the question would be here, how the global philology will both build on their expertise. I mean, they do have a culture, which is Arabic, and they have audience. Again, people who are trying to understand what's going on, even in the present moment, but also, of course, in the past. The past is present always. So how the global philology will build on their expertise and address their research and teaching needs. Of course, they have research, as I said, master, PhD, assistant, tenure, and all these things. And teaching and the teaching needs. They teach the students. They have, for example, I'm teaching this semester the translation movement. So I have more than 300 students in the 4th grade. So that's a number, you know. They are going to graduate. They will be postgraduate. I don't know what kind of work they will work, but anyhow, I am trying to build their own skills in language and computer and all these things in order to have a critical thinking and succeed in what they will be doing after graduation. But some of them will go into master and PhD degrees. So what will the global philology do for these students? I mean, workshops, trainings, the funding mechanism, which is very difficult, of course, not an easy thing to do, and etc. I mean, I don't have a ready answer for this, but I'm just putting the question to you. Number 4, there are also students, university level, undergraduate, of Greek and Latin, who are eager to learn and advance their skills, as I have said. I will have more than 300 students. How will the global philology address their learning needs? I mean, it's very difficult when I teach and I'm telling them to bring the middle level and Scott with them, because again, we don't have a very good coverage in ancient university, I mean internet coverage. So in home, I'm telling them that there are LSG and other dictionaries which they could work on. So, but they need something again in order to work on dictionaries which is tailored to their needs. I mean, Greek, Arabic, and Latin Arabic. That's also a slide from previously. What was behind all this? I will not go into further detail, but I will just read this because it was a very long reply to a previous post about the universal nature of our Greek and Latin discipline. It's universal. It's transnational. So at the end, I said that I would not exaggerate if I told you that I would feel myself guilty if someday one of these students, I was talking about my student, grew up and imitate what IS had done to the archaeological site in Syria. That was back then when they destroyed the temple there. So because he or she, of course, does not appreciate it. Why? He does not appreciate it simply because he does not understand what was there, what is this, what kind of temple, and why, again, why he would not understand, because most of the sources are not accessible, which is, it's a difficult situation. It's a very big, complex, but again, it's there. The sources are not accessible, even if we do have museums and collections of all these things. Either they are in reality, I mean, in the museums, they're in Egypt or elsewhere in the world, secured in magazines that in the near future, I don't, you know, it is open, but there are a lot of things, bureaucratic procedure that, you know, you cannot access that. Due to many reasons, will not be opened, won't open even to scholars like you and me. I am in the same problem. I do have many emails from my colleagues. I'm asking about a certain piece here or there, I mean, in the Egyptian Museum or in Alexandria, and they are telling me, would you help us? I'm always saying that I do have the same problem. When I go, I am faced with a lot of bureaucratic, obstacles, and cannot access it. So I am in the same problem, in the same problem like you. So, or it is presented online, this is a reality, and then virtually. Presented online virtually with languages which he or she does not understand, and filled up with pieces of information, data, metadata, which are mostly irrelevant to him because of culture. There is another way to see this world from the Arabic speaking. When he's looking to the world, he's looking through the language, and of course, through language, it's another eye, other than English or French or Italian. So this was the past, and to somewhat the present. And still think this was 2 years ago or something. But anyhow, this was the past and to somewhat the present. But do you want this to be our third future? I think we all could do something in opening up our sources for students, and of course students and their families and all those people who get in touch with these students in order to spread the knowledge. So I think we are here all committed to open source and open access. So this is the last slide. If you, I will go to the side note that I have put in my first presentation. If you take out the Arabic Spring and put the digital shift, this will say to do so. I mean, I'm insisting on not simplified version. Once and for all, that the digital shift, as popularly understood, never actually happened, nor has it once and for all ended. As for what happens next, that is to a great extent up to all of us. I think this is very specific to Egypt. I used to live in Germany, and I was transferring my rent online, online banking. When I moved to Cairo, I think I drove about 30 minutes or something to find a bank and to stand in front of the bank here in order to transfer my rent. And I'm doing this, I think, every month. But here in Germany, you could do that while you are sitting and do this Dauerauftrag, something which will be automatically. So when I came back to Cairo, wow, there is something missing here. So in Cairo, you cannot do this. Whatever bank you do have, The online banking is moving very slowly in Egypt. Some international banks do that, but again, there are a lot of problems in this. But here it is taken for granted. 5 years, for the whole 5 years, I have never worried about my rent. It is automatically transferred. So this is why yes, there is still a lot of work to do in this regard. I mean, making all these sources accessible to the Arabic students and the Arabic audiences. Thank you.
I can remember, must be 2 years ago, going and traveling to the Jamia al-Qahira, the UFC, the University of Cairo, which is the Arabic language, an Arabic language university, not to be confused with an American university, and discovering a classroom of 100 students of advanced Greek, and discovering a world of Greco-Roman scholars and students of whom none of my colleagues virtually knew anything, and who themselves knew they were invisible from our perspective. And I think Usama's work, trying to open this up is really fundamental. You had 300 students learning about the translation movement, the movement of Greek into Arabic, and then Arabic into Latin. Without that circulation of ideas, both the Arabic translation of Greek and original Arabic science and scholarship into Latin, civilization in Europe, in the west of Europe, would not have evolved in the same way. There would not have been a Renaissance in the way in which we had without that pre-introduction of advanced thinking. This is a story well known, I think, in Egypt. Some people think they know it here. I think they don't have a sense of it in their gut. I don't think it has the impact of you do not have an appreciation of the connectivity and the relationship among cultures, just of the alienation. My colleague Dimitri Gutas at Yale likes to say that the West extends or goes to the Hindu Kush. That everybody on that side is connected, even if they're connected by chasing each other around, we're still connected and influence one another. And Greek and Latin have an opportunity to extend that. There was 1,000 years of Greco-Roman history in Egypt. Who of us can say as much from beyond? So it's always a pleasure to have you. And it is certainly my hope that whatever we do, we'll be able to advance this larger, more expansive understanding of Greco-Roman cultural heritage and of what it means to be part of this Mediterranean, whatever this space is of which we're in. So I think, any quick questions before we go on, because we'll have to